How's it going, ladies and persons? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Disco Elysium. Now, we've just figured out the tire tracks thing here, so that gives us something to explore, I guess, for now, until it's time to interview that man. The tracks are here as they've ever been, a bit more worn, perhaps, fortunately. The street sweeper still hasn't noticed their presence, so they wanted us to head south and see if we can find the car. I think. I don't know. We'll see what we can find. A car headed south. Have we talked to this man? He must have seen the car, right? There's a bin there. I see a Samarran street vendor, surrounded by motley assemblage of goods. When you realise you're looking at him, and looking at him and his face breaks into a wide, welcoming grin. The name Si Ling is embroidered over his breast pocket.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool here.
Gives you a thumbs up. What's so cool?
Everything's cool. The goods are cool, the customers are cool, the place is cool. And one more thing, officer.
From out of the bay, a cool wind gathers. It sweeps into the city, tugging the textiles hanging around the stand. Some distance away, the sound of a tin can clattering across the street can be heard.
You're very cool.
He makes both hands into finger pistols and fires a few finger bullets in the air. Whether I'm cool is unimportant. I have police questions for you.
You're right, officer. 100%. No playing around, then. Strictly business. Maybe I can interest you in some premium menswear instead.
Persuade him to give you some money. 72%? Oh. No need to dress that one up. Just tell him what you want. I want your money, now. Okay. Si Ling stops, his face suddenly serious. But why, officer? I don't know, it's anything I could come up with in my head to ask you. I need money somehow. Ah yes, money's very important, the street vendor nods. Dead serious. Are you trying to ask for a bribe? If so, you're not doing a very good job. He looks at the vendor. Sorry, detective. The man grins as if the entire incident is already forgotten. The food packages selling have humanitarian aid written on them. How come? You mean these delicious pre-packaged shelf-stable meal kits? Real easy to cook, no hassle, real cheap too. Buy some, try them out. No hassle? There's a little hassle here, it appears. A moral hassle. Doesn't that beat the idea of humanitarian aid? It's supposed to be free. That's what makes it humanitarian. It is practically free. Yours for 5 cents apiece. Rock that tuna. Why not some macaroni too? Don't play games with me, Hawker. What's going on? No problems here, officer. I get all this from one of my suppliers. An extremely reputable guy. Does your supplier drive that Humanox lorry over there? Pointing at the lorry with the big Humanox sign on it. What? The street vendor looks over his left shoulder and stares at the lorry, as though he's never seen a lorry in his entire life. A convincing performance, bravo. Look, officer, I'm just a retailer. You have to talk to my supplier if you got questions about the supply chain. That's how this game works. Interesting. The lieutenant whips out a blue notebook and makes a note. What kind of stuff are you selling here? Only the coolest goods in Rivershoal. I got speakers, sneakers, extremely comfy pants too. Try them on, right here, no shame, only freedom. Where'd you get those comfy pants? I'm an entrepreneur, officer. He begins counting on his fingers. I got sources, buyers, suppliers, distributors, manufacturers, wholesalers, all extremely cool and above board. You have a permit to sell all that? Good joke, officer. Here we don't have permits, just economic freedom. Take a look around. He takes a deep breath. He glances around at the decrepit buildings, the miserable weather, the sidewalks strewn with sunflower seeds, and the dust-choked air. It's beautiful, beautiful freedom. Sweet, no permits for me. No permits means less work for me. Let's move on. That's right, Rivershoal is the best place for an independent self-employer like myself. That's why it's so cool with all the models coming here and cool celebrities. He smiles, his bright toothpaste ad smile. Is there a discount for cool officers like me? No need for discounts at Si Ling's, officer. Everything's already on sale. He nods towards the crate. Anything you want, 50% off. Did he first mark them up 100% so he could just put them on sale? Well, those things really on sale, or did you just jack up the prices first? My man, you know how the game is played. You and me, we should work together. What do you think? Shake things up. He winks. Alright. Where are you from, Si Ling? Me? It's a boring story, officer. Who cares about the past? I'm all business now, all Rivershoal. This man probably comes from Sigay, sometimes known as Apricot Suzerainty, an archipelago in the Samarran Isla. You're from Apricot Suzanarity, right? Calls to mind an era when the Sigay archipelago was colonized by Rivershell. It's a bit of a slur, in other words. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say you're from... Pronounce it very painstakingly. Sigay. Very cool, Sea League nods, his eyebrows furrowed. I admire your awareness of our intertwined histories. Super nice of you to apologize for colonialism. But the Apricot Suzerainty is a shithole. That's why I left. You're right, but isn't it only a shithole because of Rivershell? He smiles brightly. If you say so, officer. I don't worry too much about politics. I'm an entrepreneur, you know? Whatever's good for business is good for me. 83%? Start with a little compliment, then work your way up from there. This is about business, remember? You seem like a really successful entrepreneur. Would you like to support a member of the local police force? Oh, okay. The man stops, his face suddenly serious. But why, officer? Think of it as an investment. An investment? He raises his brow, intrigued. What kind of investment? An investment in me, a highly experimental human being. My risk-reward ratio is insane. I'm not going to confiscate this humanitarian aid you're reselling. I'm a policeman. It's an investment in good relations with the RCM. A guy told me I needed money to live, otherwise it's game over, I don't want to die. Let's go with 3. He looks you straight in the eye. I hear you, officer. He agrees. What kind of sum are we talking here? 10 real. Sounds like a fair deal all round. Takes a 10 note from the leather pouch. Lieutenant nods calmly and says, corruption. Damn right, corruption. Now I can stay in the hotel for 2 days again. Dude, if the police won't pay me, I gotta survive somehow. It's not like he was doing anything wrong anyway. Not here, there's nothing we can do about it. I guess that car must have come through here, which we won't get to check out until Wednesday. Hang on, we need to try, what's her face again? What's her name? I'll remember when we get to the radio. Sylvie, that's it. Just a second, officer. We still gotta figure out who rang. Yes, hello, you recognize your voice. Hey Sylvie, it's the police again. Oh great, she doesn't sound thrilled. What else do you need, detective? She knows where my badge is. She knows. Do you know how my paperwork ended up in the trash container behind the whirling? Well, there's an uncomfortable pause. You tried to jam it down the toilet, sir, clogging it completely. After I'd unclogged the toilet and retrieved the paperwork, I threw it out in the trash, thinking you didn't need it. I'm sorry about that. She doesn't sound like she's actually that sorry. Anything else, detective? I found my patrol cloak earlier. Have you seen my policeman uniform? Uniform? Never saw you in uniform. You had your things on. The disco things. Badge. How'd you first learn I'm a police officer? Okay, my badge is missing. No, she hasn't seen it. Uniform. Oh crap, I did it again. Every time I talk to anyone I lose morale. God damn it. You hear the call breaking up. Alright, that's no good to me. We haven't done this one yet either, eh? Not yet. 41st, we got more here. Just a moment, officer. 10-4, coming, officer. Over. This might sound odd, but there's personal details I'd like to discuss. Okay, 10-4, sir. I hear you. Relay your question. Over. Wait, before you say anything stupid, think it through. I need information, not fear. Be smart about this. Ask if he's there alone. 10-4, sir. I'm not hearing a question. The radio operator inquires again. Hold on, are you alone in the room? I need some confidential information about myself. That's a negative, sir. I've got 10-12. Visitors present here. Over. Okay. Yeah, let's wrap that up. I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about my gun. As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled, and the large orange sector indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge, there's a red switch labelled heat. Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they're mesmerizing. They're also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again. Run your fingers over one of the steering levers. The white suede feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handle so very familiar in your palm. I don't really know what else to do. I mean, we could burn time, I suppose, until it's time to meet the man, but I don't want to waste time. I don't know how many days we're going to have here, you know? Let's talk to this guy again. We just keep re-talking to everyone. There's always new stuff coming up.
So, how'd you like our harbor?
You've been in there, he means. Talk to the boss man too, probably. Nice enough. It's but a rest area on the path leading to across open plains, he notes solemnly, and then turns to you, a wide smile adorning his face. Right, you talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk. Any idea who killed the hangman? The mercenary, eh? He shrugs. Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing? He shakes his head solemnly. The merc was hanged with a very specific type of cargo belt, one often used in harbours, had the word vermilion written on it. What a thought, he scoffs, looking shocked. Why would noble workers resort to such a thing unless we were pushed, of course? Pushed how? Your dead guy was an enemy combatant. What does that mean? He was an agent of the opposition attempting to undermine our honourable efforts. Did you kill him? I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organisations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills. He's not lying about not doing it himself. He means a more violent faction easily take care of such a thing. Understood. Lieutenant takes a note. This has been a limited use, still thank you. No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure am glad it's not my search. He takes a sip from his flask. I mean, we could let that body go for processing. What do we need to finish exploring that one? Hang on. Ice bear fridge. Perception legendary. We could bump our perception up to 5, I think. That would be absolute max. I'll grab another thing from Frit. I'll grab another one of the drugs from Frit. Then we'll put our perception up. And we'll... After we put our perception up, we'll try the body, and then if we can't do it, we'll send it immediately to processing. That'll get one major thing out of the way. You know, we'll do our best to actually look at it properly, but if we can't, we can't. We still got a job to do here, you know? At the end of the day, gotta do what you gotta do. So it's a legendary perception check, is it? It is. Alright. Let's see how much we can boost our perception by. Any of these boost perception? No. We can boost our perception by 2 more points. There. That's it. Let's give it a go. 42. It's possible. Go. Yes! Your arm reaches out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh. First to your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand. What is this? His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat swollen lip, like a spider your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent. Put your fingers in his mouth. The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. Touch something else. Nostrils. They're swollen shut. You need to really push to get in. Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape as you bore in, searching for something in the cartilage. The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider. You pick it between your fingers. The mass feels large. Very porous somehow. Keep crawling, lest you break it. Okay, in your mouth. Play with it, feels right. The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, delicate to touch. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pills of bone in the gums, and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in. Open your eyes and look. A vision of black and dark red teeth pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from his throat. And there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished, no larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius. The edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after. Fuck yeah. He agrees, keep going. Touch it with your finger gently. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound. Put your finger in. Your index finger fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage, wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem. Brainstem? Yes, that's what this part is called. You've seen the drawings, you've studied them. Feel around first. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again, never wake. The funk soul brother at the back of his head has gone dark forever. Push deeper. Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There's no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. There's a cavity cut right between the hemispheres. The lieutenant answers with the sound of pen on his paper. Push deeper. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. All the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him. Wriggling. Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it. On the tip of your finger. Sharp serrated metal. The edges cut right into your skin. The pain is barely noticeable under the adrenaline rush. Interfacing. Fish it out. 9. I feel a solid object right under the skull. Can you get into it? He searches his pockets for something. Inspect the skull first. There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it from the inside. The object is stopped just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium. You have the makings of a very small exit wound here. The lieutenant leans closer. 58 is not good enough. Come on. Damn! You push your hand further in. What is in there keeps rolling between your fingers as you beckon it to come out. A little help, Lieutenant? Out comes a small foldable knife. The lieutenant moves its blade across the man's skull, searching for the exit wound. There. Nod toward the protrusion. Withdraw your hand 4 centimeters, please. Pull your fingers back and nod. With a crack, he punches the knife in the skull. Then one more time. And one more, until the bone comes loose like eggshell. Inside you feel the jelly move from his poking. The object is still under your finger. Can you push it out? A small flower of metal blossoms from the man's head, followed by your finger. A bullet. The lieutenant picks it up between his fingers. Unknown caliber. Rifled. You may remove your hand from the victim's head now, officer. Well done. Here's your prize. He drops a bullet in an evidence bag and puts it in your hand. Your other hand. The one not covered in blood and cerebral cortex. He turns to his notebook. You need to add an item to the injury list. Injury 4. Oval entry wound with abrasion collar. Soft pellet. Back of mouth. High velocity temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. He underlines the injury forcefully. How does that sound? Sounds about right. Opinion. Fatal injury. Goddamn right. Click, click goes the pen. And one last thing. We should amend injury 3. Ligament mark. New opinion. Non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment. He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact. The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone, it was all treatment. Yes. And the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of that was done after this man was already dead. Agreed. He nods. I have my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him? I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. There have to be other signs too, smaller details. Everything's too neatly designed for us to assign probable cause here, as we did foolhardily. Well, no more. There is, of course, the real possibility he was both shot and hanged. Maybe the bullet holds more answers. Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I'm certain it has more to tell us. This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it. Maybe they shot him while they hanged him. To put him out of his misery, he thinks. It's possible. But it doesn't explain the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me. Who would do this? That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier. Why would anyone do this? To hide something. The real killer. The real motivation. What really happened here? I need to wash myself. Oops. Oh, he nods. You really, really do. I'm glad to hear you say that. Your room in the whirling and rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening. What happens next? We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my Kanema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day. You'll be gone. What should I do in the meanwhile? Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I leave that choice to you, and one more thing. He looks at you in the eye. Great work, detective. After you bag the corpse, Kim will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly. I want the boots! Sneak out of your room after he's asleep. Yeah, I want those boots still. Alright. Not bad, right? Can we interact with the bullet? Yeah, we can. Alright, here we go. The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag, bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. Feel the bullet through the bag. The squash bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket is split open. It feels cold even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia use cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge. What do I do with you, bullet? What? The lieutenant steps closer. I said, what do I do with you, bullet? Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say, find the weapon that shot me. Good idea. If we find who owns it, we will most likely find out who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better. Inspect the bullet closer. The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It is blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5mm in diameter. Look at the jacket. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. Feels standard. In the core? It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound. What can you say about the bullet so far? It's a jacketed bullet, close to 5mm in diameter. A jacketed bullet, okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech loading rifle, not from a muzzle loader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez. We were right. This came from a serious weapon. Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century. Even the RCM ordinarily unjackets conical uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange, very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it. Is it like the antique rifle we found? Legendary, but my hand-eye coordination sucks. You have a similar rifle on hand, +4. Okay, we need to boost our hand-eye coordination before we do anything else. 58's close, though. Like, it's close enough to be pretty safe, but we might as well, like, max it out, right? I don't want to mess this up. We are so close to a breakthrough here. You know? Hand-eye coordination. Level up. There goes all my level up points, but you know what? I think it's worthwhile. Not that one. Alright, you ready? What do we got? 72. That's pretty good. Yes! A rifle. Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46mm from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or retrofitted antique. Make? The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belg Margrave rifle. A Revacholian manufacturer, the BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theatre of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you. The dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below The commercial area. In the building we're in right now, you mean? It's unusable, sadly. If it were, the bullet would probably fit this chamber. Is anyone still making these rifles? No. But Ziegler, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there's still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Who uses Bell Margrave rifles these days? Antique enthusiasts? Guerrilla fighters in distant countries? A few lucky jamrock bangers? You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache, only in working order. The lieutenant jots something down in his notebook. What are you thinking, Bullet? I think I know where this came from. Okay, and? The shot probably came from a Bell Margrave rifle. An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Revachol, really. Why not? Sure, there are lots of arms trafficking, but the laws prohibit the use of such breech-loaders. Were inherited from the monarchy, have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzleloaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end. Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all nations of the Riel Belt. Makes you consider every shot. I like it. Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, the third, and so on. Become much easier. But back to the investigation. Seems you're looking for an antiques enthusiast. Doesn't seem that likely, but we'll check all possible leads. We've got to find the gun itself. Hang on. Can we get back to where we were? What were the other options here? Could the victim be mixed up with some foreign guerrilla fighters? Have well-armed jamrock bangers started crossing into the Martinez? Yes, something mysterious is afoot with this antique bullet type. Either way, we need to find the gun. Yes, we do. Fascinating. Are we seeing anything else up in here? We've got a whole bunch of extra perception now, so... What if we talk to that guy? That old man knew all about our gun. The guy who fought in the war. Something tells me he'll have a breech-loading rifle just like this one. He seems like a nice guy, though. Wow. Maybe nice isn't... Nice might be an exaggeration. Maybe not nice. But, you know. There's something down there. The musty smell of a potato cellar in spring emanates from the air vent. Huh. But I want to go down there. I want it. Let's talk to this guy.
The purity of snow always reminds me of the purity of a man's soul. If he's got principles.
Doesn't help me. You got anything?
Oh, I have really outdone myself. This is divine.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston. More padding on that fat ass of yours. I hope your heart gives out.
René, it's the little pleasures. Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Oh, hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day?
Oh, jeez. You mentioned Jeanne-Marie Belleau. Who was that? Oh, sweet Jenny. He gets a dreamy look in his eyes. She was the finest woman in all of Revachol, maybe the entire world. Do not defile her memory, Gaston. There's an almost imperceptibly small tremor in his voice. Let her rest in peace. What happened to her? She died of pneumonia 2 winters ago. It was a quiet passage, peaceful. He smiles faintly. Renee and I were both at her bedside when he pauses, searching for the right word. Died. He sharply fills the silence and adds, no use sugarcoating it, won't bring it back, will it now? Departed. His partner finishes his sentence, then chuckles. Until the very end, she couldn't decide between us, the most indecisive woman I've ever met. A quick grimace of pain passes over Renee's features, but immediately regains control. His face now, a dispassionate mask again. Why do you think she was indecisive? She could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast, favourite colour, which of one of us to marry? The look in his eyes is happy and distant. She was always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married. Women, right? Heck, he says with he says with a chuckle. Technically, we're both still engaged to her. Oh my god. You always confused her. Couldn't let us be happy, he says with heavy resentment. Seduced her with your fancy words and pastries. He suddenly remembers you are still there. Falls silent and turns away. You both know her? We knew her alright. His friendly face lights up. Lived on the same street our entire lives, just 2 houses apart. The 3 of us have been best friends since we were 4. She was Renee's first girl, back when the prick was 16. He looks at the carabiner almost gently. They were caught until he decided he'd rather die for some great ideal than be happy. And then he stole her from me. He jerks forward and grabs his chest and stops. Easy fellows, no need for this to get ugly. Oh, officer, Gaston is unfazed by the outburst. It already got ugly nearly 80 years ago, when the 3 of us were just learning to walk and talk. You stole her from me, Renee repeats, trying to steady his breathing and still clutching his chest. Well, technically you stole her from me, because we've been pretty close ever since you two had that falling out over the ink you spilled over her pretty yellow dress. We were just boys then, this was different. The tall veteran looks at you and nods. No point starting this all over again, for the 1000th and first time, especially when we have company. He turns to you. Officer? Thanks for sharing. Of course, officer, he says with a smile. Memories are all we have left. Tell me, what do you know of the dead man? Let me think. He looks at the clouds wistfully. I heard someone was hanged and left in the tree for a week, but that's all I know, really. Really? You know absolutely nothing? No, officers, I'm sorry, and I really would like to assist, he adds, smiling apologetically. You're both good guys, I can see that. Then help them, you wimp! Reproach fills his eyes. You rub plenty of shoulder with that gauche caviar in the Union. Someone must know something. He means caviar socialists. I wish I could, but I just don't know anything. His cheeks turn red. I always keep my nose clean and don't gossip. Everyone knows and respects that. Odd. He doesn't seem to be lying, but there's something off here. Sounds like you're a bit like you're holding back. I'm not, he assures you. I'm not even in... Of course he's holding back. The carabiner crosses his arms. His mouth is so full of Union prick he can't even speak properly. Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, Renee? His eyes are furious. It's not anyone I'm not anyone important in the Union. I just know Everett. How do you know Everett? Everyone in Martinez knows the Clare brothers, he says solemnly. I taught those boys human studies and history in the gymnasium. Gymnasium, I love that word. What do you know about history? The carabiner snaps at Gaston. You never witnessed history, only heard about it, years later, when it had already moved on. You don't know history. The old soldier mumbles something under his breath and turns to face the sea. There he stands, proud, rigid and alone, like a cracking marble statue. Let's try not to get caught in the Lieutenant Laws's voice. Crossfire. Are you a Union member? Oh, his cheeks turn red again. In many ways, like an honorary member, I attend meetings and parties, help with little things. Everett, Edgar, and the older debuteurs all know me. In many ways. Oh yes, so you're not an actual member. Not in the technical sense, his eyes fixate on the bowls in the crater. I don't have a vote or a membership card, but Everett keeps me on the payroll, just for the little things. So that's what it is. That's what it was, before. Him hiding something. He tries to make it look like he's a big deal in the Union. And now the illusion is disintegrating before your and Renee's eyes. He doesn't know anything because no one tells him anything. He's an outsider. Of course he's not a member. He's not a member of anything. I knew that. He frowns. He's a weather vane. Turns to where the wind blows and tries to look important. I hate the socialist rabble, he continues, but even siding with them is better than living your entire life on a fence, never committing to anything. Pick a damn side already. What are the little things you do for Everett? Writing work mostly, he smiles. Occasionally he needs something written and I happen to have a way with words, people say. What kind of things do you write for him? Oh, nothing official, I assure you. Just essays for newspapers about Martinez and how things are and how they could be. Everett and I have these long talks where he tells his little pen man exactly what to say. It's commie propaganda, plain and simple. You should be ashamed of yourself. Are you a caviar socialist? The old man starts laughing. I don't even consider myself a regular socialist. Politics is not really something I involve myself in, officer. So you are a weather vane. I prefer highly adaptable myself, he chuckles merrily. Has a better ring to it, don't you think? Mon Dieu, the carabiner closes his eyes. He's never going to open them again. Thanks, that's all for now. What else have we got? That'll do. We need to wrap this episode up. I don't really know what we're going to do next. to be honest. We got 2 more hours before we're gonna go and interview the man. Until then, we'll find something to do. Till then, if you guys enjoyed it, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.